In this tutorial, we'll show you how you can get data into IAM, code the data, and reconcile the bank. To get data into IAM, you need to import the bank transactions as a CSV file. Let's see how this is done. In the left-hand menu, select Banking, and into the drop-down, select Bank Feeds. So select Banking, and we select Bank Feeds. From the list of bank accounts at the top, select the correct bank account you want to import data and reconcile. So in this case, we're going to want to select the savings account. That's the account we want to reconcile. That's correct, that's been selected. And then on the right hand side, we select Import Statement. And we enter the description for the data file. And we select the file, and we know it's a one-column format. So we select Upload. And we make sure that the columns are correctly assigned to the correct column in the CSV file. So the date has been assigned to date, description has been assigned to description, and amount has been assigned to amount. And we select Import. So here are our bank transactions for the month of June, or at least some of them. Now there are three ways of allocating transactions from this point. The first option is to allocate the transaction directly to an account. The second option is to allocate the deposit or withdrawal to an invoice or bill. And the third option is to set up bank rules to allocate the transactions. Now I'll go through and demonstrate each of these three ways. For the first one, allocate directly to an account. So we're going to allocate the stationery purchase to the stationery account. We select Allocate. And this category is an expense, and the expense account is stationery. Stationery. We call this GST. It's a tax inclusive. Don't select the job. Let's select the supplier. Is the stationery company, and we select Save. Then that reconciles that particular transaction. So the second option is that we can allocate the deposit, say for a customer default deposit, to an invoice. So we'll do that in this particular instance. So Mark Smith, we'll allocate his deposit. So we allocate it. That's a customer payment, yes. And the customer is Mark Smith. And the amount is $200. Payment date the 4th of June. Received via transfer. And we find the relevant one here. Into $200. And then we scroll down and we select Save. That reconciles that particular deposit. We're going to allocate a payment to a bill. So we're going to allocate the office rent for $500 to a bill. So we select Allocate. It's a supplier payment. And the supplier is office rent. And we transfer the money for our direct. And we enter $500 in this box. and that allocates, select save, and that reconciles that particular transaction. So the third option that I mentioned earlier that you can use is to set up a bank rule for a particular transaction and allocate the transactions on that basis. So we'll go ahead and we'll allocate, set up a bank rule for Rita Reynolds, and we pay her supervision fees. So we select Manage Rules. At the moment, we've got no rules in here for the savings account, so we select Add a Rule. The expense rule, and we'll call this Rita Reynolds. And the description is Rita Reynolds. And we want to select a job, an expense account. We'll call this professional development as it's supervision fees. And the tax, we'll select GST, she's registered for GST, and it's tax inclusive. So we select save. Then if we go back to the savings account, we'll see that a rule has now been set up for Rita Reynolds, and that transaction has been applied to that rule. So we select approve. And then that reconciles that particular transaction. But to reconcile the bank, we need to allocate all the transactions to an invoice or bill, or allocate them to an account individually, or by applying bank rules, as we just said. Then, once all these transactions here on the screen have been allocated, you then compare the balance of the bank account, so the balance here, with the balance on the balance of the bank account, so per the bank statement, with the balance in the bank feeds page, so this is a figure here. If they match, then the account is reconciled. If they don't, you have to do some digging to try and find out the reason why they don't balance. Whether you haven't imported all the transactions, or whether a transaction has been coded incorrectly or reconciled incorrectly. So it's just a case of going through and looking at the work that you've done and trying to identify where the out of balance amount is.